Hi and welcome. My name's Tolan and I'm the co-founder of Productivity Meet. In this video, we're going to look at how to move a worksheet either to a different location within your existing workbook, to a new workbook entirely, or to an existing workbook that you have open in Excel. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to open up Excel, and once Excel is open, I bet you know what we're going to do. We're going to press Enter and create a new workbook. In our last video, we looked at how to rename worksheets, so we could call this data. One way to rename worksheets is to double click and then put that information. We also had a really exciting, super great keyboard shortcut of Alt-O-H-R. Pressing Alt-O-H-R will also allow us to rename worksheets. Now, there are going to be certain occasions that you want to move the location of these individual worksheets. So maybe you would want to move rename to the beginning. There are a couple of ways to do this. The first would be to use a keyboard shortcut. You can press the Alt key, then press E as in elephant, and then M as in move. So again, you press Alt-E-M, and you would then select the location that you want it to move. Basically, it's going to move to the right of whatever you select. So if we put it here, it would go in between data and inputs. If we put it here, it would be the leftmost tab. We're going to hit OK, and it moves rename to the beginning. If we wanted to move inputs, we could hit Alt-E-M, and then if we wanted to move it in between data and rename, we would select data, hit OK, and it would be moved in that way. Now, an honest response here is sometimes if you have very few tabs and you want to move a tab, it may just be faster to press the mouse cursor, and once you've selected that with your left mouse button, you can just drag and drop, and it would change the location. This is something that I do all the time. However, if you were to have lots of tabs, this dragging and dropping method isn't always super efficient, especially if you have multiple screens of tabs. So say you wanted to bring sheet 23 to the beginning, you could, the really painful process of scrolling over and moving. But if instead you wanted to move it in a faster way, you could select inputs, you could say Alt-E-M, and then you want to move it to the first item, first place, so you would click that and it would be moved. All right, a last method that you can use is to scroll over to the tab that you want to move, or rather the worksheet. You would right click with your mouse, you would go to move, and you would select the location. Say we want it to be between inputs and sheet 23, hit OK, and it would be moved that way. So again, there are at least three ways to move a worksheet. So we're going to call this test. The first way is to press the Alt key, the E key, and the M key, and then select your location. The second way would be to manually grab that with your left mouse and drag and drop. And lastly, you can right click with your mouse and go to move or copy, select location, and hit OK. Now, one alternative is if you wanted to, say, create some data. So say you had a table or something and you wanted to move this to a different location. The way in which you can do this is by coming down here to test, and you can either right click and go to move, or you can press Alt-E-M, and then you would select the book or the Excel file that you want to move it to. Since we only have one book open, we would say new book, we'd hit OK, and that test worksheet is no longer in this file, this book 1, but rather it has been moved to an entirely new file called book 2. So you can move it to an existing worksheet, to a new worksheet, or another Excel file that you have open. So if we wanted to move it back, we would go to Move, we would select Book 1, we would select the location, we would hit OK. And then it's back in this Book 1. In our next video, we'll look at how to create copies of an existing spreadsheet, meaning that we will not move that original data, we'll just create a duplicate of it. We'll do this by using the keyboard shortcut of Alt-EM and then using a little checkbox. Or alternatively, we'll look at similar methods to that of what we covered in this video. That like using the Control key and the Windows mouse scroller. So check that out in the next video, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.